Good afternoon, everyone. Sharice Jervis Hill here from Events to Remember, NPR to Remember, with our Coffee with Cher session. I have Mr. Anthony Verna III here with us today. Hello, Anthony. How are you?
Well, Cher, thanks for emphasizing the third, lest anybody think I'm my father. So,
There's three of you, over three of you running around, so we need to make sure that we preference the third. So Anthony is the founder of Verna Law PC. So he's going to kind of, we'll kind of get into it in a little bit. But Anthony, before we get started and kind of go over your journey, let's have our little cheers, a little coffee cheer. All right, I'm banging it that way.
Sorry, it's tea, not coffee.
Hey, whatever gets you through an afternoon, right? I'm a coffee girl. Actually, I need to say, my intern Amanda, who was with us, she went to Alaska and she got me this really cool mug. So Amanda, I like your mug. Thank you.
I'm glad she survived Alaska.
Yeah. That's another. We're not even going there, Anthony. We're not doing it. Okay. So Anthony, tell us about your practice and tell us how you got started.
Sure. So Verna Law PC is a full service intellectual property firm. So what does that mean? That means we handle patents, trademarks, and copyrights, anywhere from due diligence to the applications to actually register them with the federal government, to licensing. So if there's a business deal, we can do the licensing agreements. We can do purchase and sale agreements as well. We can also litigate. So should somebody be infringing somebody's intellectual property or business's intellectual property, we can represent on the plaintiff side. We also can represent on the defendant side should somebody be accused of infringing any intellectual property. We also have an advertising law practice. What that means is that we help businesses work with ad agencies. So a lot of that's contract review to make sure that all the liabilities are sewn up correctly. We also review advertising for state and federal compliance. So make sure that what is said in an advertisement is allowed to be said in an advertisement.
Goodness.
I know, as well as promotions and sweepstakes rules. So if a business has anything to give away, we can draft the rules for that as well. So we have for a 3-person firm, we are a very diverse practice, especially doing the advertising on top of the intellectual property.
Got it. I didn't even think about the advertising, but that makes a lot of sense. Yikes. I tell you, good thing we have attorneys like you that handle all of that fun stuff.
Thank you.
So
Cher.
How'd you get started, Anthony?
So when I was in law school, my because my bachelor's degree is in computer science, you really get pushed towards the patent side of life. And while I'm not a patent attorney registered with the Patent and Trademark Office. Certainly a lot of my career is on that patent side, especially on the litigation side. We have a patent agent in our practice as well. But really, when you go to law school and you're a nerd, you get pushed into intellectual property law. There's no doubt about that. So, so that's really how I got started. It was from the very beginning, taking my college degree, my work experience as a programmer, and putting it into law school. When you take that blend, yeah, almost have no choice, but I decided to ride that wave.
Okay, good stuff. So I want to just because there's so many different attorneys, although I feel like intellectual property is, and you'll kind of let us know, but I do feel like that's kind of a niche. Not a lot of people.
I always joke. I always joke. I'm the attorney that other attorneys have no idea what to do with.
Okay, so my thought process was right. I was going to say, like, what sets you apart from your competition, kind of in that space, or this can be general too. Other firms,
I think
other practices.
Yeah, I mean, I think in our space, what makes us
Mm-hmm.
very unique is somebody once said to me, "You're like a mini Davis and Gilbert." Now, for 99% of everybody listening, that means absolutely nothing. But let me tell you what it means. It means that a firm like Davis and Gilbert is a big law firm, and they are known for being an intellectual property firm and an advertising firm. So, what you get with us in a three-person firm, where I have a bachelor's in computer science, I have litigation and prosecution experience. We
Mm-hmm.
have we have our of counsel who has 40 years of litigating, mostly in the telecommunications industry. We have a patent agent who can draft patents. Between all of our experiences,
Mm-hmm.
you have something that is unique in the small law world, and
Mm-hmm.
that when another lawyer says, "Oh, you small firm are set up exactly like this big firm,"
Mm-hmm.
without, of course, the big firm rates, but
Yeah.
with similar experiences combined.
Mm-hmm.
That's what sets us apart, is that experience to create something unique.
Mm-hmm.
Most small intellectual property firms do not have the advertising law experience.
Gotcha.
If I can tell a quick story,
Sure.
recently, I was hired for a case for a patent infringement lawsuit, trademark infringement lawsuit, copyright infringement lawsuit, false advertising lawsuit for a case in Phoenix. So it's
Mm-hmm.
in the federal court in Phoenix, Arizona. But the other attorneys don't have the advertising law experience that I do from my past work.
Mm-hmm.
So the my client's the defendant. The plaintiff files what we call a preliminary injunction motion on the
Mm-hmm.
false advertising claim, basically saying, Your Honor, these guys continue to falsely advertise, and what we need is we need you to intervene now because it's an emergency now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the motion was nonsense, but when the judge asks me questions like, how do I know that your claim that there's not an issue really is true, that there's not an issue?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I get to answer, Your Honor, advertising works in this particular way because the products work in this particular way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get to go through that with my past experience to a federal judge, because we have experience litigating. We have experience on the soft IP side, because federally, false advertising is like trademark infringement. It's treated
Mm-hmm.
very similarly. But, that's experience that we have that other intellectual property attorneys just don't have.
Got
So
it.
we get to take all of this and combine it into one small firm, so that
Mm-hmm.
we can defeat the biggest intellectual property firm in the United States on a preliminary injunction motion, which we did.
Awesome. Good stuff. I mean, hey, I'm always pro small business. So, and I have a small firm, and I always say we're small but mighty, but we definitely can go toe to toe with anyone out there.
Exactly.
So I hear you. I love that kind of stuff. All right, so I want to take a little time just because what you do is definitely different, right? I want to find out like how intellectual property helps your business be successful. I remember we have an event. We actually haven't done it in a while just because of COVID and all of that stuff. And we've just been so busy with client stuff, but we will start it back up again.
Right.
We have an event called, or well, we own, I trademarked the name, Sassy Ladies Shopping Night Out. It's a fun kind of girls'
Mm-hmm.
night out event where we get vendors together. We do a fashion show. It's kind of like now everybody's doing like pop-ups.
Yes.
It's a pop-up event that we did. I mean, I think I trademarked that like 10 years ago. So we did it a really long time. We did it for many, many years, and took a little break. Again, I will go back. So all of my Sassy Ladies fans, we will be coming back. We're just so busy. So we're trying to figure that out, maybe next year. But anyway, I didn't know you at the time, so I did it through LegalZoom. And
Oh, now you're breaking my heart.
I didn't know you at the time. And it was the process was really, really hard. I mean, I'm very detailed, but it was a lot of work. It was really, really hard. I mean, I would have just hired you had I known, right? But I say all that to say that I feel protected somewhat, that I do have the trademark. And I remember someone did a similar event and they tried to kind of use a piece of the name, and I didn't have to go the legal route, but it was good to kind of have that in my back pocket. So I want you to just talk about like how intellectual property helps your business be successful. Tell us a little bit about
Sure.
that for business owners.
So for me, my first thought is that I want, as for smaller businesses, I want your intellectual property on your asset sheet. I want it to be a positive portion of your business. Number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, you buy insurance for your business. I don't know, if you have a brick and mortar store, you're going to need to have insurance so that people, liability insurance in case people walk in and out and get injured. You're going to
Yeah.
need to have insurance because you have inventory in it, because you
Mm-hmm.
have employees, whatever the case might be. There's insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, intellectual property is a type of insurance as well for your business. So number one, from the asset standpoint, when you register your intellectual property, and not all intellectual property is registrable, but if you have your trademarks and you register them, you have works that fall under copyright law and you
Mm-hmm.
register them. You have inventions and you get your patents registered for them.
Mm-hmm.
They are, number one, an asset to your business, which means number two, that they have value for your business. I want them on your asset sheet. I want those positives on your asset sheet, because at some particular point, you will not be in your business anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Do you
Mm-hmm.
know how you're going to transfer your business? No, I don't know how you're going to transfer your business either.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a value for your business. It's a positive value for your business. I want them on your asset sheet. That's number one.
Hmm.
Number two, it is insurance for your business. On the trademark and patent side, we do trademark and patent searches to make sure that what you're going to register has some validity to it.
Mm-hmm.
We draft opinion letters to show what the validity is. Why? Because trademarks and patents both take a long time, and trademarks are taking longer than they've ever been.
I'm sure now,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, post COVID, we have a crush of fake applications from China, crush, slowing down the patent and trademark office. You want an opinion letter from an attorney that says, this brand that we've created, we're sure that we have some business judgment as to what it is. So there you go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Insurance in a couple different ways. Once it registers, you get to retroactively look back should somebody infringe upon you. In other words, if you file on day zero and then
Mm-hmm.
5 days later somebody were to infringe, well, trademark law might give you some state-based ways of getting it, or what we call through the common law, because you're using your trademark, but that's not necessarily a given. Having a federal registration, again, federal registration also not 100% given, but it's a policy that says business name, trademark, goods and services that it's represented, and it's there on the federal register. Same with your patent. You take your invention, file your application. You're going to hear back from the Patent and Trademark Office 1 to 2 years later. But once you get your registration, you have inventor's name, if it's assigned to the business, and what the device is, what the invention is described there.
Mm-hmm.
You have that written out for you. And should somebody infringe, you get to go to court. And you get to say, that's mine, Your Honor. These other people are using some facsimile of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it is lesser. And here's why. So it's the ability for your business to have value and to show what actually is behind it. It's a part of the infrastructure of your business, is what it is.
Hmm. I love what you said about your asset sheet. I said I did that 10 years ago, and I don't have that on my asset sheet. that's like really smart. And I didn't even think about that, because it is an asset.
Thank you. Yes,
So,
it is an asset. It's a building block for your company.
mhm.
If you ever go to, I I hate talking about entrepreneur and pitch events and things like that, but if you go, you will find that there are one or two startups there, and they're like, we've got 10 patents. Now, that might be a specific strategy rather than them having 10 specific products,
Mhm.
but that's their strategy. Your strategy you might say, hey, I like that strategy, and you might take something from it. Or you might say, nah, my strategy is going to be a little different. But the good thing here is that there are ways for you to build a strategy so that you can build your business. And look, if you've got an invention, the good thing about patent law is that is yours for 20 years from the date of filing. You have a legal monopoly from the
Mhm.
federal government saying you can make it,
Mhm.
you can sell it, and you can prevent everybody else from doing that. If your trademark is registered federally, you get to say anybody that is junior to us, cannot use a similar name on
Mhm.
similar products.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
if you get your copyright registered, you get to make copies, sell copies, create derivative works from your original, and it's yours.
Yeah. I thank you for sharing all of these good nuggets. I remember seeing something that you posted on social about Rihanna with the Fenty line, with her with the different Fenty brands. Now she has the lingerie line, and now the makeup line, and I saw something about Fenty Baby or something is coming. So I thought this was like
Yeah,
a really interesting topic for business
I
owners.
always do the analogy. I mean, your example is very good, but I also use the analogy of Pepperidge Farm because a lot of people just like buy cookies. So you buy a
Mhm.
box of Pepperidge Farm cookies, and you'll see, Pepperidge Farm. Well, that's a registered trademark, so that's a brand.
Mhm.
But then you look at the back of the cookie box, and it has 6 cookies, and you'll see that most of them are registered. Why? Because they are different kinds of brands as well. Whether it's Chesapeake or Nantucket or Milano, whatever, those are all registered trademarks because you've got one big brand and a bunch of sub brands as well.
Hmm. Now that part I didn't realize.
And,
I didn't realize that.
and it's very analogous to what you said about Rihanna and Fendi. There are there's you know Fendi registered trademark. I haven't actually looked up Rihanna stuff, but I'm sure Rihanna has a registered trademark in her name.
Hmm.
And then you've got all of these different brands depending upon the product line that's being made by Fendi.
Yeah, Fenty.
Fenty, sorry.
Fenty. Yeah. I love Rihanna, so we got to get it straight. And she's coming to
I'm
Westchester too. So okay. So tell me a little bit. I want to kind of like wrap this up with some advice that you would give to an entrepreneur, someone who's thinking about starting a new business, or someone who started a business and might be kind of having a rough time. Kind of drop some more nuggets. You definitely have shared some good stuff today. Let us know any advice that you would give.
the advice that I would give is um you see that a lot of businesses do sell something proprietary, and that tends to be a very that's a very clever hook. We've got something you don't have. And what I would say is, with intellectual property, not everything has to necessarily be proprietary. You can take and I'm working with a client right now on the possibility of a patent application on an idea here, an existing idea, but I've got an improvement for it. So if a product exists, and even if patents are out there, you can say, hey, I can improve this product. And you take that improvement and you own the improvement. And you can build something off of the improvement as well. If you're working in your business and you see something better, don't be afraid to say, hey, is this something better that I can do? And then therefore take that and be the one to sell it. That's absolutely okay. And as for your brands, remember, we have more trademarks than ever before, to the
Mm,
point that lawyers are running seminars for each other saying, are we running out of trademarks?
oh my
Do your
goodness.
due diligence when you brand.
Interesting. Good nuggets, Anthony. Well, thank you for being here. How can everyone find you? Tell them someone has an idea and they need to speak to Anthony ASAP. What do
Thank
they do?
Thank you, Cher. You can go to our website at vernalaw.com, VERNALAW, and you can reach out to us at 914-908-6757. Send me email, anthony@vernalaw.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Anthony. This was great. Much gratitude for coming and sharing nuggets with our
Thank you for having
listeners.
us share. Thank you for having me share. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. And tell Michelle I said hello.
I will absolutely tell my lovely wife you said hello.
Yes, she is lovely, his wife. I love her too. All right. Thank you. Talk soon.
Take care, Cher.
Bye.